How's the audio? You hear it? I used to know Rad. I saw Rad. One of my first concerts. It's like a hair metal fest. I'm gonna change the settings on this. Let me know if it gets too loud. Is that loud? Okay, good. It's a new amp, so I don't really know how to use it very well yet. So I might go to something and a setting, and it's gonna get crazy loud. I'm shy. How clear is the picture? It's crazy clear on this end. I don't know if it's the same. Really good. Any what's your guys' favorite bands or musicians? Who you like? A card? Like a baseball card? That's all I got. That's the type of card you're talking about. Okay, cool. I appreciate that offer. I just I'd rather pay that way. Yeah. Well, let's see. I don't think autofocus is. Megadeth. Yeah, this was sent to me by the camera sent to me by Chris Sabo's glasses. See, actually, Shy, 97 is probably, I have almost no cards from that, like 95 to 2005. That's something negative, right? I hope you get one. I've never seen any of those type of autographs come out of any break ever. I would love to see one of Ted Williams. I think it was like 93 Upper Deck. Then I had the Ted Williams and Nolan Ryan. Was it Nolan Ryan? 91. Time all seems to blend together, but. 92 is me. Well, was there was a Nolan Ryan or is it Reggie Jackson? Reggie, okay. Well, one of the sets you got has the Jeter, which is huge money. Probably more than the Mays. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, that would be a crazy pull. The Beckett has it for I think like $400 or $500. Well, if that's what you need, Taco, I in a week or so, I think I'll have something for you. John, I wish I could have sent you a little bit more, but I don't have much in the way of red stuff. I actually had to go out and find some red stuff. Thanks, Raph. What kind of music do you like, Raph? Because I probably won't know. I won't know what it is, but I think they're done. I don't think we'll ever see another Movon card in a new set. All right, I'll watch it. Send me a message when you're done with it. Back is killing me. This is a 97, right? Yeah. Seems like it's for people around our age. That seems like the years, the lost years, because everybody was in their 20s. But most of us, I think, were in our 20s, so we missed a lot of the cards in that, like 95 to 2005. So even some of the base cards, I think, are pretty cool. I want to get a box of these 97 Flair Metal. They look kind of like Marvel cards or something. Were they expensive? I think he's in that set that Chi-Town's talking about. Really? Was he that great? I thought his dad was kind of a, not a bum, but I thought his career didn't pan out. Oh, poor Mickey Morandini. I hope he's not watching. Who does he know? What are you talking about? Well, I'm going to shut this down now. I just wanted to test and see how clear the camera was for breaks and how the focus works. Let me open up one pack of cards. Let's see. So we have 3 packs of chrome and then this one pink refractor cards. Okay. Let's see how these look on. I don't know how to get it to focus. Mitch Hand. All right, so it's also backwards. I got to figure that out too. Bias, rookie. Yeah, I have to do it. And finally, Kevin Kramer. I mean, yeah, it's not really auto-focusing. Hey, buddy. Just testing this out to see if the quality of the camera that Chris Sabo's glasses sent over, but it's not autofocus on any cards. Oh, that's pretty good right there. That's how legible is that? Except for it's backwards. Chris, I was just talking to someone through email who's apparently sending me out a package in the morning, which has some stuff in it for you. Who he wants me to open on cam, on video. So who knows what's in there? Hopefully Tiffany and Rafis and Relic. What's up, Casey? How are you? Cannot get this string to tune up. If you don't mind me asking, what do you, there he is. This camera's fantastic. Some soap opera music. I don't know it. It's a great song, though. Songs that it was the Day of the Dead theme, or yeah, it was Day of the Dead. I think somebody did get it. I told him to email me, but I would have sent him a card or something, but he never got in touch. Tubular Bells. There he goes. Powers. Maximum Overdrive soundtrack. That was with AC/DC, right? What's in these mysterious packs of cards for Chris Weaver? Striker. Tiffany Amber Thiessen sock relics. That's a great song. It was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure when I think they were recording a video for it, and they all when he was getting chased, right? Through like wasn't Universal Studios, but it was something. And like that. Going through like the Toho Godzilla set. I don't know any Rage Against the Machine. Well, here's the secret to Rage Against the Machine. It's this. Something like that. It's all the songs do. Yeah, Pee-wee's great. Tim Burton was so good. Pee-wee, Beetlejuice, which is a weird thing that even is a thing. Like Beetlejuice is such a weird movie. Edward Scissorhands is another one that I'm shocked that it exists because it's so bizarre. I guess it's kind of like a Frankenstein thing. But what else did he do that was really good? But you don't have to keep it PG here. Maybe actually, if we're gonna get into Tiffany Amber Thiessen relics, keep it a little PG. Nightmare Before Christmas, yeah, but he didn't direct that though. He produced it. Somebody else directed, I think. Batman, yeah, Batman '89. Dove Cameron, I don't know what Dove Cameron is. Yeah, Tim Burton films. Like, if you look at his stuff, like after Sleepy Hollow, it's all opinion, but I think that I'm trying to think of a director who's had a stronger decline in quality of movies than Tim Burton has. All these, like, I guess people like Big Fish. Yeah, Sweeney Todd. I've never seen Sweeney Todd. I've seen Sweeney Todd with Angela Lansbury, but not his, which is, I think is the same as his version of it, the musical. Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't care for it. He did Dumbo, which he did. I haven't heard much about it. What else did he do recently? Willy Wonka, which was just horrible. Dark Shadows he did, which is weird. He did direct it? I could have sworn that he just produced it. Mars Attacks was cool. I like Mars Attacks. Just because it's so ridiculous, but you can see the seeds of what would become like bad Tim Burton and Mars Attacks. Team America was South Park guys. And I don't know if Operation Dumbo Drop with Ray Liotta in that. Let's see. I'm going to pull up his IMDb. What's up, buddy? Collectorholic. Congrats on your Bowman case. That thing was pretty unbelievable. Yeah, I want to go see the new Tarantino with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I have to go into the city to see it. Nothing around here is playing it. I see they're getting a lot of crap because of the way Bruce Lee's portraying it, but I mean, I don't know. It's crazy sometimes. Tim Burton, IMDb. So let's look at his all of his director. 38 director's credits. So his first big one was Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands. Oh, Ed Wood. Ed Wood is great. Days ago out. Alex, the guy's name was Alex Gordon. He wrote scripts in the 50s for B movies and how hellish it was to do that, the budget constraints. And he worked with Ed Wood, and he wrote one of the Ed Wood movies. I can't remember. So he did Ed Wood, Mars Attack sequel. He did Planet of the Apes, which was rough. Freddy Got Fingered is great. Strangeland with Dee Snider. They did Planet of the Apes, Big Fish, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Corpse Bride, Frankenweenie, Dark Shadows. Trying to find. So The Nightmare Before Christmas, yeah, he was the producer. Henry Selick says directed Nightmare Before Christmas. Plan 9 from Outer Space. It wasn't that. It wasn't Glenda. Was another one. But it was a cool article just about how tough it was to do things with budget constraints of like $65,000, and how talented the people were that worked on these low budget films. Is it Primates? I say it. I can't pronounce words at all. That you had these, like, because the budgets were so tight, they gave you nothing. Because sci-fi, unless you were doing a Western, or you were like doing a major studio movie, the budgets were going to be nothing for sci-fi and horror. So the guys that worked on the tricks and different things and cool ways they had to figure out to come up with special effects. I mean, a lot of times they were bad, but they worked with the best they could make it with what they had. So this is old Fangorias. I don't think anybody cares about these, but I'm trying to read through all the stuff from the 80s. But yeah, Freddy Got Fingered is good. Is that like, somebody did a review on it, like I think it was Red Letter Media, and they were the idea, they thought it was just Tom Green trying to get away with as much as possible. What would the studio allow? What would his popularity in the town allow him to get away with? But it's funny. Is it a new? I'm not up on what's going on with guitars lately. Is it new? No, Gibson had some issues. Tom Green show is so good. That one, the Slutmobile or whatever, when he painted his dad's car up. And I think he did the snowman in the art too. Undercut his pizza. That's right. I think the dude like came after him with like a hammer or something, didn't he? With the undercut his pizza. Then he had that show, that internet show, and everybody on 4chan was just trolling him like crazy. Yeah, he was like putting them out on tape too and circulating them around Canada, I think, or was it cable access. UHF is good too. I don't know any solos anymore. Forgotten everything. When he gets hit by a car or he hits the deer, right, and then he climbs in it. Why is it hard to view UHF? Steve Ray Vaughan. This has an amp on here called the Friedman Brown Eye. It's got kind of a Steve Ray Vaughan sound. That chord, that this gets too satire. There was the Chris Sable can Glasses can play some good Tool. I remember the Michael. Who's the dude who played Kramer? Michael something. When he pulls that thing out of his nose. I don't know any Tool. I don't really know a lot of songs anymore. I forgot a lot of them. I know some jazz stuff, but you like Steve Ray, or is it Steve Vai, right? Ice Cream Man Soul. My hands are too short. Some Van Halen. I saw Van Halen on the Van Halen 3 tour with Gary Sharon, and they were filming an episode. I don't know if anybody remembers that show on MTV called Fanatic, I think, or Fanatics. And there was a, all right, dude, I'll have I'm gonna put something together for your sister with Peyton Manning cards. I think she likes. Come on. Something like that. Imagine that. But this kid came out, and Daryl's a cool movie. And they let MTV was filming it there, so they let the kid come out and do the solo to pantomime. And it was horrible, and it was like you could feel it. The audience, the life gets sucked out of the audience, and the concert kind of went down from there. It was also Van Halen 3 tour. You should see the troll job Peyton did to my dad. I don't know what you mean. Dow was cool. I think Dow was probably there was a show in the mid '80s with a Small Wonder, right, with a little girl who was kind of like Daryl. I'm guessing they probably made the show. I think it was called Small Wonder. Yeah, creepy red dress. What's up, Dallas? Which boy from Small? Was he kind of chubby? We should start a campaign, a GoFundMe. I shouldn't laugh at that, but it's just a weird thing to read. I like the Raiders too. I'll hook your sister up with some Peyton Manning cards. I think I have some. Small one. There was another show that wasn't. It was kind of like in the Small Wonder world. It was a girl whose like dad was an alien, and she had like a little crystal pyramid. And when she put her fingers together, she could freeze time. And I remember she had an Uncle Beano or something like Uncle Beano, and I think Uncle Beano was in Babylon 5 or something. I think Willie from I don't remember. Alf wasn't really allowed in our house. My mother hated it. Out of this world. That's what it was. Exactly. I had such a crush on that girl when I was young. Willie from Alf. Was that the dad? Because the dad just died. And I remember seeing some stuff. Like the father from Alf got really into meth. I'm not trying not to laugh. He got really into meth, and it's just he like got caught with prostitutes or something. I think the end of Alf is really rough. I think he gets captured at the end of the series, like by the government, and you just assume that they like take him away and probably doing horrible experiments on him. Jay, the end of Alf, the government catches him, and another like dinosaurs. Everybody knows dinosaurs. The show kind of ended bad. I think it was like an ice age, but David the Gnome ends really bad. I had no idea. I watched David the Gnome as a kid, and I showed my nephews, and like at the end, I'd never seen the end. It's on Prime now, and at the end, him and his gnome wife, go up to like some mountainside and die and turn into trees, and his fox is like trying to climb up the mountainside, and he's crying, and my nephew just starts, his eyes just well up with tears, and David the Gnome ending is pretty rough. Apparently, there's like a lot of gnome lore, and like they die after like 400 or 500 years. I don't remember how Quantum Leap ended. I do like that show. Sledgehammer? Let me look that up. What is Sledgehammer? I've never seen it, but I know what it is. I'm looking at the picture. It was like a satire, like kind of like a police squad or something like that, or is it like something related to a nuclear bomb? I saw something about it on Reddit years ago. It's a great song. He vanishes into nothing, ceases to exist. So is that really what happens to him? Yeah, it is a pretty good movie. I really liked it. The end was weird. Like felt like they probably filmed that after, but it was pretty good. The other one that Netflix did was not good, or they picked up and they just added the Cloverfield name to it. And they're in space. Yeah, he was really. John Goodman was great in that. He's great. I've never seen John Goodman in anything bad except for maybe like King Ralph or something. He's Professor Al from PW Kansas Spirit and Quantum. That is pretty dark. They are rebooting that show, I think. I'm sure we'll have Scott Bakula, but that was a cool show. King, maybe it is. I just don't remember it. I don't remember it being good. I remember he bowls in it or something. He did the movie before that that I really like. I've talked about it a couple of videos. The Wrong Guys with Louis Anderson. It's not good, but I think it was his first big role. I think most people know it. I didn't really like Arachnophobia. Is awesome. I didn't really like the first Cloverfield. I liked the stuff before it, like this. I think it was like Slush Show or something, where there was some cool like mystery stuff they had like a website that was connected to the movie somehow, and it's kind of like that J.J. Abrams mystery thing. But I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. Arachnophobia is great. Arachnophobia feels like that's right. He was the what's it called? He was the exterminator, right? And that movie feels like it's almost directed by Steven Spielberg. Allison, are they doing that? Alice in Chains and Corn? Steven Spielberg probably? I'm going to assume that he produced Arachnophobia because it feels like he did. Let's see. No, surprised. It is an Amblin film. Casey, each one is different. Like the first one's, but they're all sort of connected. I think Korn is playing with Alice in Chains or something now. So, like the first Cloverfield's a monster movie, like a kaiju type monster movie, like a Godzilla type, and then the second one is not really. I mean, it's kind of a crazy man. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's a very, I'd say, small movie about people locked up in a cellar or a fallout shelter type thing. So there's all this stuff going outside, so you can kind of assume that what's going on outside is the stuff from the first movie, I guess. And then the third one was a Netflix one, which was horrible. Duffer Brothers feature film. What was it? What did they do? That's guys from Stranger Things. Alice in Chains is great. I assume Jerry Cantrell's. What's up, Rob S? Netflix has made garbage lately. I go on Netflix, I shut it off. There's like, I just can't, almost nothing on there I can get into. Yeah, I love Pink Floyd. I love like it's a momentary lapse of reason. Division Bells. I know a lot of people don't like that, but what was it called, Jay? Yeah, Bright sucked. Then again, it was, I think Max Landis wrote it, so. I think Bright's kind of like the concept's kind of cool. A little bit. I see every movie must have snipers. Oh, you've seen 5,000 films or more. GNR 1 to million. Is that? What's that? Well, Max Landis. I'm not a. He wrote that. And I'm not a big fan of him or his writing. So he wrote a script for like Super Mario Brother World. I think you can find it online, and it's kind of like what he did with Bright. Like, I guess like a deconstruction of fantasy genre, try to make it more realistic. It's about the only Megadeth riff I know. Let's see. Max Landis, if anybody doesn't know, is John Landis' son. And he wrote the show and produced it, I think, what's the detective show with, I think, Elijah Wood? Dirk Gently? Is he in it? I've never seen The Fifth Element. used to know a lot of Megadeth. Skin of my teeth or your teeth, and hold. Chet Lemon, what are you doing here? This is a Chet. No Chets allowed. Harvest. I don't know. Harvester. Holistic Detective. Is that what it's called? Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective. I forgot to put up the note. Chet Lemon's not allowed sound. Chet, you see these legs? It's pretty good legs, buddy. I don't know any Slayer. First Walgreens, not Dave Street. What were you doing at Walgreens? Buying Fearfield boxes? They card you where I am if you buy cough syrup, I think. But or is it Sudafed, right? For the meth. Even though we don't really have any meth, everyone's on heroin. The Caller, is that the one with the girl from Taxi? The blonde girl? She's really bubbly. Are they Chili Peppers? Beat it. If I known you'd come in and talk to me, I would have got out some hockey cards. You could tell me what's good or not, because I am not like no idea. Let me think. Golden Girls? I love Golden Girls. I can't remember how the theme goes. I love Blanche. What are the words? Chris had those glasses. He liked Estelle, right? Golden Girls theme chords. Thank you for being a friend. Chords about the golden. So it's a D. What am I doing with my life? Trying to play Golden Girls. Travel down the road and back again. I don't know the Golden Girls theme. Trying to think if I know any TV show themes or movie themes. Here's an easy movie theme. What's that? Somebody's got to know what that is. Nope. Yes, close. Sorry, that was loud. Yes, close. Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man with Big John Stud. There's a delay on this amp that's called like fifth. The counters are fifth, and you just. Oh, I know that. I know the Unsolved Mystery theme, I think. Something like that. What's that? Scariest TV show ever made. Maybe the scariest thing I've ever seen. That show, the whole, you had like Unsolved Mysteries, yeah, nightmares, Sightings, X-Files. What's that show with Jonathan Frakes? The Believe It or Not show. We get Razor Ramon had a pretty great theme. The car crash starts right. Night Visions. Never heard of that, I don't think. Visions TV show. What year was that? Henry Rollins, Night Visions. Remember Night Gallery? Psychological, yeah. Looks like Henry. Okay, yeah, I've never heard of it. 7, Resident Evil 7. Yeah, Robert Stack added so much scary to that show, and when it was done, like you could call somebody, or you couldn't connect with people like you do now, so you're left alone with these like horrible police sketches and crazy scenarios. But it was always like the end of a year later when they do the updates, and you can be like, update, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh yeah, it wasn't that scary. It was just like the husband killed the wife. And I think it's a good example to use, like people like with paranormal things. You're missing huge pieces of information, and things are not as crazy when you get a piece of information. Hitchhiker show. I don't remember that. There was also Fox at the time. They had a found footage movie called Incident at Fox Alien Found Footage Movie. Alien Abduction Incident in Lake County. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that, but it's one of the first found footage movies. You have like Cannibal Holocaust. You have another one. I can't remember the name. It was like Jet something from the 80s. But then you had this one in like 89. Wolf? I don't remember that. You had the alien autopsy thing. And just had a lot of paranormal stuff at the time. It was cool. But they had this movie called Alien Abduction Incident in Lake County, and you can see it on YouTube. And I remember a friend I had who is a psychopath and compulsive liar as well. Really bad. I'm not friends with him anymore, but friends as a kid. He's been in jail many times for horrible, horrible things. And he was such a liar. And he told me he saw a movie, or he saw a real alien abduction on TV the night before. I'm like, whatever, dude. But it turns out he was talking about that movie. And I watched it years later, and it's not great, but it's pretty innovative. So you saw it, Jay? Psychopath. Yeah, he was a good friend. I mean, kind of. Got in a lot of trouble with it, but he was as psychopathic as they come. Like, I'm not being, oh, he's just, you say in conversation, that psychopath. He was a legit psychopath. No feelings of remorse. No, his ability to know what was right from wrong was zero, essentially. I would. The actors that portrayed the whole. Yeah, that makes sense. I think Matthew McConaughey did some on there. Bill Moseley from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I know he was one of the Unsolved Mysteries villains. Rifleman guy, I know you're talking about. Who's in Tourist Trap. Joe Bob Briggs Monster Baby, one of my favorite shows of all time. I absolutely love Joe Bob Briggs, and I love that he's back on Shudder. I've probably, more than anybody, Joe Bob Briggs has been an influence in growing up on TV. Rifleman guy, who was that? He was in the movie Tourist Trap, which is Full Moon. It wasn't Full Moon at the time, but I don't know if Charles Band directed it, but his brother did the soundtrack. And, sounds a lot like Puppet Master. Chuck Connors, that's who it is. Yeah. And but I don't remember the show. I don't show Werewolf. 87. I was too young. I would have missed the. I don't think I remember watching Married with Children with my dad, but I think there's a guy, Josh Hadley, who he's on YouTube, and he posts weird TV commercials and promos from the 80s and 90s, and I think he's got like a Wolf TV series, all the early promo stuff, and yeah, 92. Sounds about right, because he was pretty old when Tourist Trap came out. One of the things he posted was the Freddy Krueger hotline, where you could call up and talk to Freddy Krueger. And another one where you could, it was like a goblin hotline. They were playing on like ghoulies and gremlins and munchies and all that type of stuff. And you could call and talk to like little goblins. I don't remember that, but I did call the Freddy hotline, and I've heard the audio recordings of the Freddy hotline were nothing like when I called it. So when I called it was just the guy talking, sound like the Micro Machines guy, and then it hung up. So maybe it was a mistake. Played NBA. Did he play NBA? Goblin ASMR, dude. Somebody needs to get on that real quick. Gremlins started all that. You had Gremlins, then you had Ghoulies, you had Munchies, you had Hobgoblins, 976 Evil, Critters, right? Critters, I love Critters. There's that scene with the guys on the basket case. Joe iPhone, now you've done it. He's gonna start doing Goblin ASMR. Basket Case, one of the best movies ever made. Critters, when the dudes in the ship are taking form and they do like the reverse wax melting thing on the skeleton, the plastic skeleton. It looks great. It still looks great. It's a cool movie. The rest get a little rough, and then there's a new show on Shudder. That's hell is it? It's a Critter show. Basket Case first GP sold for just $19.99. Really? I love Basket Case. There's maybe you guys could recommend some. I love older movies that show really seedy New York City, like Basket Case and Cruisin' with Al Pacino. Not sure what else, but yeah, I love Basket Case. I love all the Basket Case. They get really, really creepy, really goofy. Yeah, like really nasty 70s New York. where like you could smell the sidewalk. They're from Boston. Celtics, Chuck Connors. Darker. Every movie is dark. Yeah, it wasn't dark. There was some. Oh, there's another one by the same guy who did Basket Case, Hoffman, whatever his name is. He did a movie called Brain Damage, and it has that real seedy vibe to it. And it's actually like a shared universe movie with Basket Case. Like he gets on the subway, and the kid from Basket Case gets on the subway, and he's holding the basket. A little cameo. Yeah, he was tall. I always confused Chuck Connors when I was younger with Jack Palance. And they look kind of similar. I really like Jack Palance. I like City Slickers. Well, at least I remember liking City Slickers. I haven't seen it for so long. Yeah. Oh, so you've seen it, Jay. That's great. Yeah, it's like on drugs, right? Satire on drugs. I've never seen Gunsmoke, I don't think. It's on, I think it's on Prime. I tried watching the Andy Griffith show, but I wasn't something like that. Sound City. Yeah, that's a whole era of TV I've never really watched, except for maybe Dennis the Menace when I was a kid on Nickelodeon. Old Matt Dillon. MeTV. Well, I watched MeTV for Sven Gulli. He's great. I think it's like Saturday nights at 11 or so. Then you get the Star Trek, the old Star Trek. Those are the like those westerns I have trouble with, I think, versus like the spaghetti western, or even like some of the 40s, like 12 O'Clock High, Chain, all that stuff. I do like Searchers. You do, Rob? You're my age, right? You're 30 mid-30s, 36, something. You're watching on Prime. On Hot Kettle. I'm not sure. 35 or 36. Chet Lemon promised you to celebrate your birthday. Yes, Sven Gulli is great. I wonder if there's any other Sven Gulli type guys out there. I know there's one, and they have them on Prime. It's really bad. But the monster TV show hosts, kind of a thing of the past. Well, Grandpa Monster did it in Gremlins too, right? Was he like? I think he did it in Gremlins too. There was somebody recently died. He was very 80s or 90s, and he was like the first to do it. And I think the girl from Plan 9 from Outer Space, Fred Lynn did it, the baseball player. I think Elvira still does something like that. Does she? I love Elvira. I never saw that. I never saw the Grandpa Monster. Fred Lynn, Eddie Monster. Okay. There was a girl that did it in the 60s, I think. One of the first. She might have been the or even the 50s. I'm not sure. Okay. Well, I have a lot of the thriller videos that Elvira did. She used to host, or the VHS tapes or thriller video, where she would do that for movies. Oh, yeah. He was the judge in My Cousin Vinny. Up in their Pet Cemetery. The new Pet Cemetery was rubbish. We watched 15 minutes of it. I had to shut it off. It was not good. Fred Gwynn. That sounds right. Tony Fredlin Gwynn. Netflix, I know they haven't put out as much good stuff lately, but the two Stephen King adaptations they did were pretty good. 1920 whatever, and the one with Rose Matter, or Rose. Anyway, I think it was like Rose Matter or something, or Gerald's Game. That's what it was. That was good, because most Stephen King adaptations are not good. Dark Tower broke my heart. Chris Weaver, where are you? Still here? Dude, I only saw the first couple minutes of it, and I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. He's sleeping on his pole up top. I saw in the baseball documentary, was he supposed to have stumbled on the cards? Because when he pulled out the '89 Griffey, it had a card saver in it, or it was in a card saver, I should say. And I know those weren't a thing. I don't think they were a thing back then, or even like 15 years ago. I might be way wrong. And I know all documentaries are manipulated to some extent. My Frankenstein, that was cool. I like Poison. That was a good song. But Chris Weaver, did you see the Dark Tower movie? And where is my Lord of the Rings book report? I thought it was one of the card saver sleeves, like the kind you would if you were going to send in something to PSA. Yeah. Rough Watches are not good, the movie, or Rough Watches like the sad or something. What's up, Sportsline? How are you? I have some cards here if you guys want me to open them. I was just going to test the video quality really quick on the other computer, but so I only have 2 packs of Chrome and one of these pink refractor ones. I don't know how to reverse the camera, so it's like a mirror right now. I'll do these after. To Dallas, I'm sorry, bro. I should have put pants on. I thought maybe Chet would come in, and he'd been giving me crap about. He said his legs were better than mine, and they just aren't. See, Nick's Jacob. Does anybody know how to flip this camera? It just dropped from the point of the movie and figure out the downfall of cards. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of people who are not into cards that dig it. Jameson Tallison, or Italian Jameson. Justin Upton refractor, must be using an encoder. I just plugged the camera into the laptop. Not numbered. And Salvador Perez. I like the movie. Give me a month. Give me a month for the Book of War. No. Dude, if I stood up right now, this whole camera would just be engulfed in thigh meat. I don't know what you're talking about, Chet Lemon. My legs are strong and thick, like big mows. Yeah, somebody earlier I was watching the stream and they had the same problem with it. Well, thanks, Sportsline. It's so much easier talking to people, doing a video, talking to myself. Chris did. Yeah, the movie Chris was horrendous. I know a lot of people didn't like the casting of Roland. I didn't really care. Big Thick Legs, it's my theme song. But the movie, yeah, it was really bad. But the guy that directed it, I'd seen a movie that he had done prior, and it was really good. Anthony Rizzo, Chi-Town, perfect timing. Get anything good out of that box, you get that Willie Mays. Trevor Richards. Man, dropped it. There we go. That's my theme. Brian Anderson. And a Sandy Alcantara. That's how you say it. One more pack is these pink refractors. It's still hard to say. So these pink Walmart refractors. Justice Sheffield. Now that's weird. I thought it said, okay, 5 pink arrows in mine. Justice Sheffield. Nick Birdie. A lot of people don't like this signature, but I really like how it engulfs the whole front of the card. Ronald Guzman. Reese McGuire. And everyone's favorite. That's I want to make a joke about it being a hit, but I won't. Dark Tower movie sucked. Hope they don't make any more. The movie was pretty good. I thought they were dual film card, like a film cell. Doobie Herrera. I thought Prime was supposed to pick it up and do a Dark Tower show. They were just going to ignore the movie. Yeah, Jay, it's not worth it. It's really, really bad. The only thing I liked about it is, if you read the books, there's a character called Oi who looks like a kind of like a raccoon. And there's a scene in the movie where they're in a hospital room and Roland sees it and says, "Oh, you guys got talking raccoons here." It was a cute little, shout out to Oi, I guess, but it wasn't the unlike the like a protective. Dude, I love those Top Finest cards. Best movie based on a Stephen King book. Shining. I think The Shining. Misery. Okay, that's pretty good too. Misery, Shining. Never seen The Langoliers. Never read The Langoliers either. Those cheaters are going to go away. All cheaters are going away in price. Stand By Me and Shot. Yeah, those are good. Stand By Me. What's up, Mud? Kelly? Mike? So you're going to get the Will Clark, and I think you missed it before. I have I think a Justin Upton Topps triple thread numbered card if you want that instead of the Verlander or the Rice. Christine, I love Christine too. Chris Sable must love Christine. John Carver. It's got a great soundtrack. Stand By Me. The Stand wasn't. I wasn't feeling The Stand. Stand By Me is so. I can't remember what I was talking with on here about. It's a TV show with Winnie, Chris Weaver. Help me out. What showed Winnie? Love of Your Life. Wonder Years. Like how, oh yeah, Kelly. Wonder Years. How so, it was so, even though like, I guess it's kind of the equivalent of Stranger Things nostalgia for people who grew up in the 80s, right? Kind of. It was like boomer nostalgia. Like my dad or my mother would really be into it. It was so nostalgic and sentimental that it bordered on like a melancholy feeling, which I had a hard time watching it. And Stand By Me is kind of like that too. It's like this weird nostalgia that I can understand, but I can't understand. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But he was sued for Stand By Me, or the book, because he said that his neighbor said that he actually wrote it. Right, it was called The Body. And no, I don't. Oh, I know who he is. Yeah, John from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Pete and Pete's cool. Pete and Pete's is like it's the TV equivalent of like a church, if you went to a church in Minnesota and they were having like not a buffet, swap meet, and they had some lady there with casserole with just peas and tuna fish. And I mean this in a good way. That's what Pete and Pete was to me. MASH was the Korean War. I saw it was Vietnam. I don't think I've ever seen or watched MASH. But I think the Misery or The Shining are probably the best Stephen King adaptations. What's the worst one? And Maximum Overdrive is not in there. Maximum Overdrive is great. There was another adaptation called Trucks that starred the Poindexter from Revenge of the Nerds. Are You Afraid of the Dark was great. Right? Well, Trucks was the name of the story, I think. And then it was like a made-for-TV or sci-fi channel movie in the 90s. That was really, really bad. Who's going to direct The Stand? There was somebody was going to do The Stand. Was it Bradley Cooper that was going to direct The Stand? Duel is great. I love Duel. It was something I was reading about. Trying to connect a character to the Needful Things. I'd probably do Duel on VHS. Do you want it? You can have it and put it in your pile, your box. Needful Things. My girlfriend was watching that a couple days ago. I hadn't seen it for years, and I was looking up if the character in that had the store was Satan or not. I couldn't tell. It's implied that he was, but he may be. I guess in the book or the short story, they never say what he is. So that it was like the Man in Black from The Stand. Rare Horror by Spielberg. Watch what? Haunted Farmhouse. Yeah, Max von Sydow. He played the guy. Remember the kid in it wanted the Mickey Mantle rookie, and he's like, tops or flare? And I don't know, was there a flare in 1952? Because in the book it wasn't Mickey Mantle. I think it was Willie Mays he wanted. 1952 flare Mickey Mantle. There was a 1952 flare. No, okay. I wish he'd said it. You want a Mickey Mantle rookie, 1952 tops, or Don Russ? The Mercers for Flash Gordon. What about Ming the Mercers? Flash Gordon. Somebody asked me for Flash Gordon tapes, and I do have some. Tops and Bowman, yeah. So therefore, okay, now I can never watch the movie again. It's ruined. What year did Flash Gordon come out? Do you know? I had no idea he played him. When he must have died not too long after Needful Things. Or no, wait, he's still alive, isn't he? Like an idiot. He is still alive. That's right. He's 90. Okay, you want the Flash Gordon? Yeah, I do have some. They're neat because they're a really weird company. They're like a small distributor of tapes. Yeah, he's 90 years old. It's pretty crazy. Flash, one of my favorite. Behind the Masked Rise of Leslie Vernon. I've heard of that. I don't know what it is. They couldn't make baseball in the 80s and 59. So I have a Flair. I have a Ted Williams Flair card that was like part of a set where he was going fishing. That's right. He was in the opening of Force Awakens, right? When Poe Dameron meets up. Getting more card mark. Interesting. Yeah, the Flair Ted Williams is the first really old card I think I got. Yeah, I remember. I don't know. Did they ever explain what the hell he was doing in the opening of Star Wars? Who he was? Yeah, man. That's the case. Come up, we love it. Belial. He was assumed to be watching over Ray, but who? I don't know who he was. Like if he was, I thought. Well, I'd assume when I saw that he was going to be part of some type of plot point later, but I'm not a big fan of the new Star Wars. He was a resist. Okay, you wanted the next Rian Johnson, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say much about that movie. It bothers me. It bothers me more than it should. Ravenous was great. Yeah, the soundtrack was great. It had that real kind of. No, that's not it. It was kind of like a guitar sounding soundtrack, right? Well, Rian Johnson just came in and just shit all over everything. And I think Disney's, I'm assuming that's what Abrams is coming to clean up the mess of Rian Johnson. And I know people like it. And I'm not. If you dig it, that's cool. Show, yeah, like the stuff with Snoke, like his. I don't know. I just didn't care for it. That whole, it's salt, right? Like that subversion of our expectations. Okay, it's not Hoth. The worst part of that movie was when they're, the two worst parts were when they're in the casino planet and they're cornered and the girl Rose takes the harness off and the dude says it was worth it, and then she takes the harness off. She's like, no, now it was worth it. It was so bad. And and when he was gonna stop the attack on the resistance base, the rebel base, right? He's gonna kill himself, and Rose stopped it. And I think she kisses him as like the friggin' door blows up. Like they break the door down at that point, I think, and it was so poorly done. For me. You mean the kid with the force power at the end with the broom? They have so much great lore from the books and from the comics, and I don't know. Like Rebels is great. Rebels is a really good show. I just wish the Nightfall on History Channel. No, I never heard of that. I don't know, Jay. I would love to see a Star Wars movie that dealt with like the early Siths, like coming like not the Siths that we know, but like the race of Siths that are wiped out or extinct. Which I thought kind of thought Snoke was that. I would really like to see a movie about like a kind of like a Rogue One type movie about droids, because they're kind of weird in Star Wars canon and lore, right? Like you can abuse that. Like I don't know, they're like how sentient are they? Like how aware they obviously are self-aware, right? And they're just kind of like sort of not MacGuffin. Oftentimes, like the suitcase in Pulp Fiction. Well, in the comics, I think when the new comics that Marvel did, was there something with the droids taking blood from people with the midichlorians and using them so they could use the Force or something like that? I know you're talking about, Ken, now. Somebody mentioned it to me. Bounty Star kick butt. Great, I would love it. I'd love one about Dengar and his toilet outfit. Okay, well, what they had one with IG-88, right? Where he like takes over the Death Star, or his plan was to take over the Death Star, like get into the program or get into the system and become the Death Star, I think. And IG-8, that was one of the bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back. But they have the show now, right? Like the Mandalorian is coming out. No, IG-88. I don't know I know it. I know another court show, I think, though. I don't know Law and Order. At Night Court. Yeah, IG-88 was a really cool character. In it, I think in the comics, or the Tales from Jabba's Palace, maybe, there was R5-D4, the droid from A New Hope, that was it Skippy? They call him Skippy the Jedi droid or something like that, where he could kind of tap into the Force, and in A New Hope, when he malfunctions and Luke buys R2-D2 instead, it's because he could sense the R2-D2's future through the Force and malfunctioned, so he would go with Luke, which I thought was pretty cool. Firefly was cool. I don't know. R5-D4, Skippy the Jedi droid. I can't remember if it was in the Dark Horse comics or if it was an extended universe book. Harry Anderson was cool. His magic was cool. but he really was bad in the original It movie. His jokes were the absolute worst, intolerable. But I always thought it'd be cool if Gonk was he was square, right, with like little stout legs. Dave's World, that's right. That there was a sitcom. What was the little like vacuum droid called? Yeah, the original movie is not good. People have a good memories of it because they were kids when in the camp. But if you watch it now, it's not. The girl in it, Superman's girlfriend from Superman 2, right? That's her name. The original It movie is tough to get through now. Tim Curry's good in it, but he's good in everything. Legend is great. Legend. I love Legend. The Legend is like the highest fantasy I can think of that's been TV or film. It's so twinkly and shimmery and elves or what was that? You have like an elf, a nymph or something. Blix, the goblin, unicorns. I really want your opinion, Chris Weaver, on Lord of the Rings. It's so well written. It's an ancient alien that crashed Earth with an asteroid. Is Pennywise you're talking about? He is. Yeah, he came on an asteroid or something, and in the book I think it's like around when the dinosaurs were in Derry, and yeah, he's in in the Dark Tower in the last book. Chris probably remembers more. Roland is trapped, or somebody's trapped by this guy that feeds off of laughter, and it's the same type of creature that it is. It's like trapped in a house or something. He like puts on a comedy routine because he needs Roland's laughter, where it feeds on fear. But yeah, he came to Derry and he like realized that he could sense like the future of Derry, and that was going to become his own slaughterhouse. It's fast, like Bill Nye the Science. Oh, are you running away from Bill Nye the Science Guy? Hey, buddy. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is great. I just finished reading the Silmarillion. I never read them. I read the first one years ago, but Tolkien is the best. Right, exactly. And in the trailer for the new it looked like they were standing on something that looked cosmic. It's not a bad one to have as your favorite. Back to the Future, one of the best. Mr. Wizard was great. Every morning I'd watch Mr. Wizard on Nickelodeon. I was a little too old. I missed Bill Nye. Beekman's World, never. I remember it, but I never really watched it. Back to the Future. My dog, when was the last time you saw the first one? Die Hard's great. The product placement in the first one is ridiculous. Probably part two, but I don't remember as much. I think it like pretty much opens with like a Burger King advertisement and a Timex. But it's weird because it's one of the few movies I know of that has heavy product placement like that, but it doesn't really ruin that movie. It takes you out of it too much. So, oh, we loaded it first. You know, there's a guy on YouTube who does all the Lord of the Rings audiobooks, and he did it all himself. It took him like 5 years, and he did every voice. He used the soundtrack from the movies, and he used it like ambient sound from movies as well, like people walking in the woods, and it is amazing. It's the best audiobook I've ever heard. Yesterday's Time stars, Michael. I don't know what that is. Yesterday's Time. Die Hard 2 is good. Die Hard 3, it's okay. I never saw the is it Die Hard with a Vengeance? Dallas, you like the movie, the Lord of the Rings movies, or the books, or both? Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'll look at the trailer of it for tonight. Yeah, Thing is great. One of the best, maybe the best horror movie ever made. I don't know. That's right, Van Damme. Van Damme's great. Better than Seagal. Seagal sucks. I do like something like Above the Law. What was the one that they kill his family? Wait, what was the one with who did Vinny whatever in the bar with the so Hard to Kill is they kill his family. Yeah, Dallas. The books it's the best fiction I've ever read. And like the Silmarillion with the creation of the story is crazy too. It's so good. It's Out for Justice. Out for Justice is the one where he's in the bar. Who did Vinny Cuco or something? And he takes the whatever the white ball and pool is called. I like some of that, like some of the early Seagal, but I don't like him and his phony mark, his keto. My keto's not good. I've seen those seeds with him running. I'm looking for Richie. Right, that's right. There was one with the Jamaicans, or like the Rastafarian dudes. Seagal, like, he's not a good person. Like, if you read the things he did, and I think he's like I think he beat some women up or something too. He's like a crazy liar. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's a wicked liar. And I don't know. Think of another Terminator. If it's good. If it's good, I don't. Terminator 2 still. Come here, buddy. Terminator 2 still looks fantastic. American Ninja. Who's the kid? Michael Dudikoff. There is a cat's ass. They thought Michael Dudikoff was going to be the big Jean-Claude Van Damme. And Cannon. If you guys want to watch a really good documentary, it's called Cannon, Electric Boogaloo, the story of Cannon. I think it's on Netflix. And they go into the dude who played Michael Dudikoff, American Ninja, how he was going to be the big Van Damme. They just kind of fizzled out. They didn't do anything with him. And then Van Damme did a Cannon movie. I think he did Cyborg. And kind of blew up from there. At Furlong, yeah, I thought he had a drug problem or something. Yeah, James Cameron. I would like to see, yeah. Terminator 1, 2 is so good. Terminator 3 is not. Canon films are rough. They're I thought that I had like that's so bad they're good type thing, but you watch and there's a lot of them are so bad it's not watchable. But the later Death Wish movies. What else did Canon do? They did Breakin', Superman 3, which is one with Nuclear Man. Is that Superman 3, The Quest for Peace or something? And there is who's in The Hitcher? Not Corbin Burnson, is it? Oh, Superman 4. Okay, yeah. I think Canon did that. They had a Spider-Man movie they were going to do back in the day, and there's a trailer for it. So what they would do is they would come up with, this is what they would do in the 50s with low-budget sci-fi too. They would make the poster, and they would sell the movie on the poster and then make the movie after. So they would go to the Cannes Film Fest and bring just all these crazy posters and stuff, and they would sell them to foreign investors based on these posters, and they would put like Chuck Norris on it. And they didn't even have Chuck, even if they didn't have Chuck Norris, they would hopefully get him after. If not, they would replace him with, action star number 2. And Superman 4 is pretty fan of. Really? Superman 1 and 2 is great. I love Superman 1 and 2. Superman. So 3 is one of them had Richard Pryor, right? As like the computer guy, banker or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've seen the Donner cut. Yeah, Superman 2 is really good. And I don't know if you guys like, I'm not really a big fan of that new Superman so much. It was well received, huh? I haven't seen, isn't there like a weird machine at the end? And an old lady? The one with Brandon Routh, the Bryan Singer one, so boring. Showdown Tokyo. I don't know if I've seen Showdown Tokyo. Maybe I'll try to find the fan edit. I know there's a fan edit. Well, there's the Topher Grace edit of Star Wars, right? He edited them down to prequels. Dolph. I don't know if I feel like it's in my mind somewhere. Like I've seen the cover. Is he in like a military? Is he like a army fatigue hat on the cover in the shadows or something? That was pretty cool. I like Dolph. I like Red Scorpion. The Tokyo Showdown Tokyo. See if I see the cover. Showdown Tokyo. Okay, no, I've never seen that. I think it's something else. Brandon Lee. What year did Brandon Lee die? 93. It's The Crow, yeah, Rapid Fire. I haven't seen The Crow in years. 93, yeah. Crow reminds me of my teenage years a lot, hanging out at the mall with weirdos and the smell of cloves. Going to there used to be in Providence a goth club called Club Hell. It was horrible. Yeah. The goths. It was fun though, going to the mall and having it be packed, and you go now, it's just dead. There's nobody there. And just walking around shoulder to shoulder with people. Yeah, this was like post goth, post grunge goth. So these are like the early 2000s, late 90s goths. They weren't really into music. They were just into dressing. Like, when did Hot Topic become big? It was around that time. It was fun though. It's fun going out and interacting with people that way. Yeah, kind of like Marilyn Manson goths. No, like the emo people, like that the scene kids, stuff like that. They were after a bit. Maybe it was like on the cusp. I don't know. But it was good memories with like people interacting like normal people. Is it exaggerated? I'm not a big Bruce Lee fan either. I'm trying to think what Bruce Lee movie I didn't like. Were they hipsters? Probably. Yeah, you're right. If you guys haven't seen, some of you probably have it. Dan Bell on YouTube. He does the Dead Mall series where he just goes to malls that are abandoned, pretty much, or some are totally abandoned, but some are sent. They're not on paper abandoned. He just walks around, and it's really cool. He also does some good stuff, like another dirty room where he goes to hotel rooms or motel rooms, and he like tests all the beds and blankets for all nasty stuff. Beautiful people, 7th grade. Yeah. Something like that. But it was cool. Don't know if I hope, like, I'm on the East Coast, so I hope somewhere in the Midwest people are still like hanging out at malls and doing that type of stuff, like Casper, Wyoming, or something. And they found him. The story's mostly fake. Yeah, I kind of. I don't know. Like, I know Jeet Kune Do is kind of, it's a thing. Like, people do it, but it's not like. I just don't know how good he was at his martial arts. He did grapple with Gene LaBelle, who's a legit judo Gene LaBelle, so he knew some stuff. Yeah, like I also hope like some places where like not near a city where there may not be as much to do that people still go and hang out at places. Like everywhere around me is gone. Like all the bowling alleys, the arcades is nothing. You can go in the city or like Providence or something and find some stuff, but they're like barcades and they're for like I don't know, just kind of stinks. But you think he died of an overdose? Bruce, yeah. I don't know. Like his 1-inch punch thing was. I always kind of put it in the same category as like breaking boards or something like that. It's almost a power trick. I don't think that. I don't know how viable any of the stuff he did would do. At least now, maybe back then, I'm not sure. Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he's gonna. Yeah. I don't know. The history of martial arts is pretty cool. Like during the 50s, but you had so much phony crap in martial arts. So much of it. Prior to like UFC or mixed martial arts world was just full of crazies and liars, and a lot of the stuff really isn't viable. You get you killed. You like if you're good at karate and you get into a fight with a big athletic guy and he'll kill you. Like Hample Trample song. All right, let's see. this is the song that was playing over the PA speakers when he killed my grandmother. Right, exactly. It's tough to say because he was, like I said, I do know he grappled and he did box. And Gene LaBelle, judo Gene LaBelle, there's a really good story I think on Joe Rogan about Gene LaBelle choking out Steven Seagal, saying Seagal was like, "You can't choke me out," and Gene LaBelle like put him out real quick and he shit his pants. I appreciate that, you know, his yeah, he was a movie star and what he did. I can really get into that, but said a lot of stuff, you know, like Cobra Kai Dojo. Like, I know it's a joke, but it's a movie thing, but those are like real things. If you Google, I think if you Google like karate dojo homeless man, you'll see this like a footage of this dude, and Bobby Joe Blythe was his name. He was a karate guy, having one of his students essentially almost kill a homeless guy. And it's a real life Cobra Kai dojo, and those places exist. There was one around me back in the 80s where they would hurt people, and then UFC came and mixed martial arts came, and all those guys kind of vanished, right? Most of them. Well, was Van Damme really martial arts, or was he like a gymnast? Oh, he did like some karate stuff, I think, or kickboxing. And I know there are some exceptions to rule, like what's his name, Machida, whatever his name, the UFC. So okay, so he was all right. The kickboxing is good. Kickboxing is legit. You know, I'm not saying karate isn't legit. It's just it's tough when you're not training, when you're not. And I know some form of karate is full contact, but when you're doing katas all day, you know, and these repetitious motions, you're not fighting with somebody else. You're going to run into a big problem if you get into a fight with somebody that A, knows what they're doing, or B, is just athletic. Hard Van Damme voice being slapped out. I mean, we all know, we've seen him get drunk in bars and what he does, so I wouldn't be surprised. Contact paddled kicks. Yeah, like the padded kicks. Like I don't know. See you later, Jay. It was really fun talking to you. I like talking movies and you know, your stuff. There's like, you have kickboxing. Yeah. So if you're 18-1 kickboxing, you know, pretty legit. I mean, it's different than MMA. Yeah. You would, so Frank Dux or Dukes, whatever his name is, the guy that Bloodsport was based off of, Kumite or whatever the hell it was, that full contact stuff. He's a liar. He's full of it. And they made, you know, Bloodsport was based off of this guy who was, there's a website called Bullshido. You can go on and read all about these phony martial arts type guys. But kickboxing, yeah, it's, if you're 18-1, you know how to do something. But you get like one of these karate, like get like a great karate guy and put him against a good high school wrestler, and that karate guy's probably going to die. Like it's just so different. Or against any type of good grappler, or somebody. Muay Thai is great. Judo is great. Judo's brutal. Like you don't see dudes over 35 or girls doing judo over 35 all the time because of the constant trauma you're getting hit when you hit the ground. Mud Dog. If you want to see somebody funny, look up Ashita Kim. This fake ninja dude. Like Kung Fu, drunken fighting. Is that Kung Fu or Gung Fu? Kung Fu is So like the motions of kung fu, like the going forward, I think it was developed as like a weapon system, right? So a lot of the motions are based on weapons, and I don't know. I've seen some like kung fu guys, death touch, dim song or dim mak. There's a guy. Any of you guys ever read old comic books, like the old advertising for like X-ray glasses, and like Hercules, like get big and strong. What's up, Micah? How are you? Is that Jackie Chan? Sure. That's too bad. Shouldn't be sad. What was I saying? The death touch. Like, there you go. Don't even get me started on Star Trek. The death touch thing. There was a guy named Count Dante who had he was a karate champion in the 50s, and then he started doing this like dim mak or whatever death touch stuff, and he would advertise it in comic books, and he's got this Black Dragon Fighting Society, and it's this crazy story. He eventually died, but they would storm dojos and like have real fights, and people would get stabbed and stuff at dim mak. Steve Blackman was legit. He beat the shit out of who was it? JBL, right? I think he like beat him up good or something like that. You know who got the? One of the Nasty Boys almost killed Frank Shamrock. I think he got put into a medical coma. Yeah, Chuck Norris is legit, like 100%. And he was an early BJJ guy with the Gracies. Yeah, look, Rob, look up Count Dante, his story. It's crazy. Yep. Well, who was the one with the black hair? The Nasty Boy. Skaggs and Knobs. I don't remember. One of them beat up Frank Shamrock so bad, put him in a coma. Supposedly hit him from behind with like a telephone, but Ernest the Cat. Well, Bruce Lee trained with Chuck Norris, right? All right, Trout. Hope you feel better. Wait, Micah, what Hawaii's reps for Little League are one loss away from Malaysian regionals. Are you playing in that? Is that your team? Doctrines. Focus. All right, listen, it's 3 a.m. I'm going to have to go. It was really fun talking with you guys. I meant to do this just like 5 minutes. And then I was going to do a regular video, but this was a lot more fun. So, from Hawaii, we lost to Maui. Well, rather lose to Maui than most other places, I guess. All right, so I can't remember. Did you say if you wanted the Braves? Do you want to, instead of the Verlander or Jackson, do you want the Braves triple play card? I mean, triple threads card with the Will Clark auto. Yeah, my cat is going bonkers right now in the background. And I did the first place was Cal Ripken Jr., which the Wrath of Cain chose, and then second place you chose the Will Clark, but Will Clark with 2 triple threads cards. One was a Verlander out of 250, and one was a Jackson out of 200. But I have a Braves player out of 100 or 199 if you wanted that instead of the Jackson or the Verlander. And I have some other Brave stuff I'm going to send with it, the package for you that I've had. But if you wanted to switch one of them out. Okay. I have another Triple Threads card that I'm going to send you, a Braves player. It's nice. I don't remember who it was, but I'll put it with your package. So, all right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me, and thank you, Chris Sabo, his glasses, for sending me this webcam, which is really sharp quality. I wish you could. He's going nuts. This means it's time to hit the hay when he gets crazy. So, all right, thank you guys.